Have you ever been in a situation where she seemed to thrive on your attention, only to leave you hanging when you needed her the most? Maybe she thought ignoring you was just harmless fun, a playful game to see how much you cared or to keep control of the dynamic. But what happens when the tables turn? Suddenly, the fun fades, and the silence becomes unbearable. For her. In this video, we're breaking down the psychology behind ignoring and being ignored, why she thought she could control the narrative, and how everything changes when you embrace silence as your power move. With a Stoic perspective, we'll show you how to handle this dynamic with confidence and self-respect, without ever compromising your peace of mind. Let's get started. Number 1. Why she thrives on the chase. Why do some women seem to enjoy being chased? At its core, it often boils down to one thing: validation. When you actively pursue her, you're essentially confirming her desirability. It's a powerful ego boost. She feels wanted, admired, and in control. For many, this attention fuels a sense of confidence and even a fleeting sense of power. Imagine a woman who constantly keeps her social media buzzing with attention, likes, comments, and private messages from admirers. She thrives on these interactions because each one reaffirms her allure. But here's the reality. Much like the rush from a sugar-loaded dessert, this high doesn't last. Once the attention wanes, she's left seeking her next fix, the next admirer, the next chase. And over time, even she may come to realize that these surface-level exchanges don't lead to the meaningful connection she truly craves. For you, the man in pursuit, the chase can be downright exhausting. You may find yourself overthinking your every move, trying to anticipate her reactions, or constantly striving to prove your worth. But here's the hard truth. If she only values the thrill of being pursued, you'll end up running in circles while she stands still. Now, let's bring in a Stoic perspective, because this isn't just about relationships. It's about how you approach life as a man who values purpose and authenticity. A Stoic man recognizes that meaningful relationships aren't built on games, power plays, or fleeting moments of validation. He knows that chasing someone who thrives on superficial attention diminishes his own value. Why? Because his energy and focus are finite resources, and he chooses to invest them wisely. Let's say you meet someone who seems to thrive on being chased. Instead of chasing her, you set boundaries and show her, through your actions, not words, that your time is precious. You don't drop everything to respond to her texts instantly. You don't seek her approval by bending over backward to please her. Instead, you live your life with clarity and intention, pursuing your own goals and passions. What happens then? The dynamic shifts. She begins to notice that your attention isn't something she can demand. It's something she has to earn. Suddenly, you're not just another man vying for her approval. You're someone who commands respect. A meaningful relationship is a partnership. Two people equally invested in building something deeper. And if she's only interested in the thrill of the chase, she may not be ready for the kind of connection you're looking for. Remember, true strength lies in self-control. By choosing not to chase, you're asserting control over your actions and emotions. You're showing that your value doesn't depend on anyone else's validation. And in doing so, you position yourself as someone worth pursuing. The next time you find yourself tempted to chase, pause and reflect. Are you running after a meaningful connection, or are you simply fueling someone else's ego? A Stoic man chooses the former, always. Number 2, ignoring as her game of control. When she begins to ignore you, it's rarely a coincidence. More often than not, it's a deliberate move, a subtle, calculated power play. By pulling back, she might be testing the waters, gauging how much effort you're willing to exert for her attention. It's her way of seeing if she can make you chase her, a tactic that allows her to feel in control of the relationship. For her, the act of withholding communication can feel empowering, as if she holds the reins. Now picture this. You send her a thoughtful message, and hours pass without a response. You tell yourself she's probably busy, but as the hours turn into a full day, doubt starts to creep in. You wonder, did I say something wrong? Should I send another message to clarify? The urge to reach out again becomes almost overwhelming. But stop for a moment and consider. This might be exactly what she's aiming for. By making you chase harder, she's looking for validation, proof that you value her enough to keep trying. But here's the truth. This game has a limit. A person can only chase for so long before the effort begins to feel one-sided and exhausting. Ignoring someone as a tactic to gain power or attention might provide temporary satisfaction, but it ultimately creates cracks in the foundation of a healthy relationship. Genuine connection isn't built on manipulation. It's built on mutual effort, trust, and respect. Instead of reacting emotionally by sending follow-up texts or dwelling on the silence, take a step back. Resist the urge to pursue or demand her attention. Instead, shift your focus inward. Ask yourself, am I respecting my own boundaries? Am I acting from a place of confidence, or am I seeking external validation? If she's ignoring your calls or texts, don't let that dictate your mood or your day. Instead of staring at your phone, waiting for a response, take charge of your time. Go to the gym, spend time with friends, tackle that project you've been putting off, or dive into a book that inspires you. By doing this, you're sending a clear message, not to her, but to yourself. You're someone who values your time and energy. If her silence is a test, the most powerful response is to show her that you don't need to pass it. Instead of reacting to her withdrawal, you maintain your composure. You refuse to give your energy to situations that don't honor your self-respect. When you carry yourself with this level of self-assurance, you set a high standard, not just for her, but for anyone who comes into your life. You show that, while you value connection, you won't sacrifice your dignity or inner peace to maintain it. Remember, you don't need to chase her or prove your worth. Instead, focus on controlling what you can: your thoughts, your actions, and your emotional state. That's the kind of power no one can take from you. And that's the game she can't win. What do you think about this approach? Do you agree that maintaining your composure and focusing on yourself sends a stronger message than chasing someone's attention? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. If this resonated with you, simply type, "I prioritize my peace," to make a commitment to honoring your time and energy. Let's start a conversation. Your perspective matters. Number 3. When your silence speaks volumes. Silence is one of the most powerful tools you possess, not as a weapon, but as a statement of your self-worth. It's not loud, nor is it forceful. Yet, when used with intention, it can send a message far more profound than words ever could. Let's say you've been reaching out, trying to maintain a connection, but the effort is one-sided. She seems distant, uninterested, or even dismissive. One day, you decide to stop, not out of anger or to prove a point, but because you recognize that your peace and self-respect are too valuable to waste on someone who doesn't reciprocate. When she notices you're no longer chasing her, your silence begins to speak louder than any words. It communicates without you having to say a thing. I value myself enough not to beg for your attention. This isn't about playing games or manipulating emotions. It's about standing firm in your sense of self and understanding that you don't need anyone's validation to feel complete. Suppose you're dating someone who has grown increasingly distant. She takes hours or even days to reply to your messages, cancels plans last minute, or seems distracted when you're together. It's easy to feel frustrated and want to confront her. You might feel tempted to demand answers or push harder to fix things. But instead, you decide to step back. You stop initiating contact. You don't send that double text or wait anxiously for her reply. Instead, you redirect that energy toward yourself, your goals, your hobbies, your peace of mind. Days pass, then weeks. You notice she starts to check your social media, liking old posts or viewing your stories more frequently. Perhaps she sends a casual message, "Hey, how have you been?" or asks mutual friends what you've been up to. That's the power of silence. It creates space, and in that space, curiosity begins to grow. She starts to wonder, why isn't he chasing me anymore? Did I misjudge him? Was he more valuable to me than I realized? Silence isn't about retaliation or proving a point. It's about maintaining your inner peace and dignity. When you stop engaging in the emotional chaos of arguments, over-explaining, or pleading, you send a clear message to both her and yourself. Your value doesn't depend on someone else's acknowledgement. Silence allows you to reclaim your power and stay grounded in your self-worth. Over time, your absence begins to carry weight. She starts to feel the void you've left behind. Perhaps she took your consistent attention for granted, assuming it would always be there. But now, without it, she's forced to confront a reality where you're no longer at her beck and call. That absence becomes louder than any argument or plea ever could. It forces her to reflect, to wonder, and maybe even to regret. Remember, silence isn't about closing the door forever. It's about showing that you're perfectly fine if it stays closed. In the process, you gain clarity about what truly matters and who truly values you. And if she comes back, it's not because you chased or begged, it's because your silence allowed her to see your worth in ways your words never could. So, the next time you're tempted to overexert yourself for someone's attention, take a deep breath, step back, and let your silence speak for you. You'll find that it carries far more weight than you ever imagined. In that stillness, you'll discover your true strength, and she may just discover what she's been missing. Number 4. How it feels when the tables turn. For someone who thrives on attention, being ignored feels like stepping into an unfamiliar and uncomfortable reality. Consider a person who's accustomed to being the center of gravity, the one who sets the tone and decides how the story unfolds. Then, without warning, the tables turn. Suddenly, she's no longer the one in control. The energy she once counted on has shifted, and now she's left wondering, why isn't he reaching out? This shift in dynamics can spark an internal conflict. It's a jarring experience, especially for someone used to feeling desired and pursued. She might replay your past interactions, searching for clues, asking herself where things changed. What she doesn't immediately see is that this change isn't a game or manipulation. It's a reflection of your decision to prioritize yourself, your peace, and your growth. For a Stoic man, this turning of the tables isn't about revenge or playing games. It's about staying true to yourself. You're not trying to punish her, you're simply allowing the natural consequences of her actions to unfold. This is a quiet but powerful choice. one rooted in the wisdom of Stoic philosophy. By letting go of what you can't control, her behavior, her reactions, you channel your energy into what truly matters, your own growth and peace of mind. When you do this, you radiate a different kind of energy. You're no longer chasing her validation or seeking her attention. Instead, you're cultivating something far more valuable: self-respect and purpose. And this shift doesn't go unnoticed. People are drawn to those who are confident in their own path, who exude a quiet, unshakable strength. Your silence, your decision to pull back, becomes a statement in itself. This is where the tables turn. What once felt like her upper hand has dissolved. She's now on the receiving end of a dynamic she didn't anticipate. But here's the key. Whether or not she chooses to reach out or reassess her behavior isn't the point. The true victory lies in you. You've reclaimed your power, your focus, and your sense of self. You've shown that your peace of mind is non-negotiable, and that's a lesson for her and for anyone else who encounters you. In the end, when you embody the principles of Stoicism, you become the master of your own narrative. You don't react impulsively, nor do you let others dictate your worth. Instead, you remain centered, steady, and committed to your growth. The tables have turned, not because you forced them to, but because you realized you had the strength to let go of what doesn't serve you. And that, my friend, is the ultimate power. As you reflect on this shift, I encourage you to think about how this dynamic has played out in your own life. Have you ever experienced a moment when the tables turned, when your silence or self-prioritization changed the course of a relationship or interaction? Share your story in the comments below. Your experience might resonate with someone else and inspire them on their journey. Or, if you'd like to solidify this mindset, type "My peace of mind is my power" in the comments as an affirmation. Let this be a reminder that choosing yourself is never a loss, but a profound step toward strength and clarity. Number 5. The mirror effect of her actions. Life has a peculiar way of teaching us lessons, often through experiences that force us to confront our own actions. This phenomenon, the mirror effect, is one of the most powerful teachers of all. It's when someone experiences the same behavior they once exhibited, like looking into a mirror that reflects not their appearance, but the consequences of their actions. She once ignored your calls or texts, acted indifferent to your efforts, or made you feel as though you were chasing something unattainable. For her, this might have felt harmless, even empowering, as if she held the upper hand in a game where you were left to guess her intentions. But then, you stop chasing. You pull back, not to play games, but to reclaim your peace. Suddenly, the situation changes. Now, she finds herself wondering, was I wrong to take him for granted? Confusion sets in, followed by frustration, and maybe even regret. The very behavior she once saw as inconsequential now feels like a sharp reminder of what it means to be on the receiving end. This is the mirror effect in action, her own choices reflecting back at her, showing her the emotional weight she once dismissed. This isn't about revenge or making her feel the pain you once felt. It's about letting the natural flow of events teach the lesson. You don't have to point it out. You don't have to say a word. Her own experience of confusion, frustration, and introspection will teach her far more effectively than anything you could articulate. In the meantime, your focus remains on yourself. This is your opportunity to redirect your energy into areas of your life that truly matter. Weeks go by. You've stopped reaching out. Your energy has shifted towards your goals, your hobbies, and the people who reciprocate your efforts. Then, Unexpectedly, she starts to notice. Perhaps she begins liking your social media posts more frequently, or she sends a casual, "Hey, how have you been?" message. What's happening here? She's experiencing the mirror effect. Your silence has become a reflection of her own actions. In your absence, she's left to sit with the realization of what it feels like to be on the other side. This isn't about manipulation or games. It's simply the natural consequence of her own behavior. The mirror effect is so effective because it relies on experience rather than explanation. People are far more likely to understand the impact of their actions when they feel the consequences themselves. In this case, by stepping back and allowing her to face the void you left, you've created space for her to reflect on what your presence truly meant. The beauty of this approach is that it's entirely hands-off. You're not trying to force a reaction or manipulate emotions. Instead, you're simply living your life, focusing on your growth, and allowing her to process her feelings on her own terms. If she learns the lesson and grows from it, that's a positive outcome. If she doesn't, you haven't wasted your energy trying to convince her. The mirror effect isn't just about her seeing the impact of her actions, it's about you embracing your own growth. Every time you choose to step back, focus on yourself, and let go of the need to control someone else's reaction, you're practicing the essence of Stoicism. Whether she comes to recognize your value or not, the outcome is secondary. The real victory lies in your ability to stay grounded, maintain your dignity, and prioritize your inner peace. Remember, the best mirrors are the ones that reflect not just the past, but the potential for growth in the future, for both of you. Number 6, the hidden pain of being ignored. Being ignored can be more painful than we realize, even for those who seem unfazed. On the surface, she may act like your absence doesn't matter. Her confidence, her routine, even her smile may appear untouched. But beneath the mask, there's a quiet storm brewing. Ignoring someone who is used to your attention, your energy, and your effort forces them into a reflective space, a place where they can no longer avoid certain truths. At first, she may dismiss your silence, thinking it's temporary. Maybe she assumes you're just busy, or even trying to get her attention. But as time stretches, something begins to shift. Your absence starts to speak louder than any words could. It creates space for her to feel the weight of her choices, to acknowledge the effort you used to put in, and to recognize the absence of the energy you used to bring. She might not say it aloud, but deep down, it stings. For the Stoic man, moments like this are not about revenge or teaching her a lesson. They are about honoring your own value. Pain is a natural consequence of life. It's not something to inflict deliberately, but it is something we can allow to unfold naturally as part of a process. When you step back, you give both yourself and her a gift, the chance to reflect and grow. We suffer more in imagination than in reality, Marcus Aurelius wrote. Your silence is not about making her suffer. It's about creating room for clarity. It's a reminder that when the noise fades, the truth becomes louder. Take, for example, a common pattern in relationships. One partner invests more while the other grows comfortable, even complacent. You've always been the giver, the fixer. But by choosing to step back and focus on your own needs, you reset the dynamic. It forces her to confront a reality she may not have wanted to face. Has she truly valued you? Or did she take your efforts for granted, assuming you would always be there? This isn't about playing games or manipulating emotions. It's about boundaries. Your silence says, I respect myself enough to protect my peace. You're not punishing her. You're allowing her the space to see what life feels like without your consistent presence. It's a powerful reminder that your energy, your attention, and your care are not infinite resources to be taken lightly. As she sits with her thoughts, she might begin to miss the way you made her feel safe, seen, and supported. She might start to replay moments where you went out of your way for her, moments she might have brushed off or underappreciated. That absence is where reflection happens, and reflection is where growth begins. When you choose silence, you're not just creating distance, you're creating clarity. You're stepping back so both of you can assess the dynamic without the distraction of constant interaction. And if she values you, she'll feel the shift. If she truly cares, she'll be prompted to evaluate her own role in the relationship and decide if she's willing to match the energy you bring. Silence can be uncomfortable for her. It forces introspection, but it can also be freeing for you. By choosing to step back, you remind yourself that your worth isn't tied to her reactions, and you give her the space to decide what she truly wants. Either way, you win. You've protected your peace and stayed true to your values. So, don't fear the silence. Embrace it as a time of growth for both of you. Let it be a mirror that reveals the truth of the connection, unclouded by distractions. In your stillness, you're not just waiting. You're becoming stronger, wiser, and more aligned with your own worth. Number 7. Reclaiming your energy. Have you ever felt drained from constantly pouring your energy into someone who doesn't reciprocate or value it? It's a heavy feeling, isn't it? The truth is, when you stop giving her your attention, you're not just walking away. You're taking back something far more valuable: your energy. That energy, which you once spent trying to win her over, trying to make her happy, or trying to maintain a connection that she seemed indifferent to, is now yours to reclaim. And what you do with it can transform your life. Here's the power in that decision. Your energy returns to you. Instead of chasing her, you redirect that energy into things that truly matter: your goals, your passions, your personal growth. Maybe you finally take up that hobby you've been putting off, hit the gym with renewed focus, or dedicate time to your career or studies. By reclaiming your energy, you give yourself the gift of becoming the best version of you. For her, this change is palpable. She might not even understand it at first, but she'll feel it. The dynamic shifts. Suddenly, the person she was so used to having at her beck and call is no longer there. The balance of power moves, not because you're trying to play games, but because you've chosen yourself. Let me give you an example. Say you've been seeing someone who used to be responsive, but lately she's been pulling away. You notice that you're the one always initiating conversations or making plans. Instead of continuing to pursue her, you decide to take a step back. You focus on yourself, going to the gym, hanging out with friends, and pursuing your interests. She might start to wonder, why hasn't he texted me? Or, what's he up to? But here's the thing. Her reaction is not the point. The point is that you're no longer dependent on her attention for your sense of worth or happiness. This is what it means to embody the mindset of a Stoic man. You're not reclaiming your energy to make her miss you or to prove a point. You're doing it because you value your peace, your purpose, and your personal growth above all else. A Stoic man doesn't waste his energy chasing what doesn't serve him. He knows that his time and attention are precious and should be spent on things that align with his values and bring him fulfillment. So the next time you feel like you're giving too much to someone who gives too little, remember this: reclaiming your energy isn't about her. It's about you. It's about choosing yourself and living a life that aligns with your highest potential. That's the power of walking away, not as an act of revenge, but as an act of self-respect. If you've made it this far, congratulations on investing your time and energy into personal growth. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Share your experiences in the comments below. What areas of your life could use that reclaimed energy? Where can you invest it to build the kind of life you've always wanted? Let me know your thoughts. Or, if this resonated with you, simply type, "I reclaimed my energy," to let us know. Your journey matters, and together, we can support each other in building the lives we truly deserve. Number 8. The realization of what she lost. Absence holds a remarkable power. It forces reflection and clarity in ways that presence often cannot. When you're no longer there, she begins to notice the void left behind. The comfort of your presence, the steady support you provided, the way you listened and cared. These things may have been overlooked or taken for granted when they were constant. But now, in your absence, they stand out sharply, like a light turned on in a dark room. What was once routine now feels like a loss, and in that space, she's left to confront what she might have undervalued. As a Stoic man, her realization isn't your endgame. This isn't about playing mind games or hoping for her to crawl back with an apology or acknowledgement. That would make your happiness dependent on her actions, which is the opposite of what Stoicism teaches. Your focus isn't external, it's internal. The power you wield lies in moving forward with confidence, rooted in the understanding that your worth isn't tied to anyone's recognition. Not hers, not anyone's. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." As a Stoic, your strength is in your ability to let go of what is not within your control. If she reaches out, you can choose how to respond. If she doesn't, it changes nothing about your journey. Your value isn't defined by her actions, her absence, or even her regret. It's defined by the standards you set for yourself and how you live up to them. This is where your discipline comes in. You don't step back to manipulate. You step back to reclaim your focus. Your energy is better spent on your own growth, whether that's improving your skills, pursuing a passion, deepening your relationships with friends and family, or strengthening your mental and physical health. Each step you take toward becoming a better version of yourself is a step away from dependency on external validation. And here's the beauty of this mindset. Whether or not she realizes your value, whether or not she chooses to reach out, you've already won. You've reclaimed your power and your peace. By stepping back, you've not only given her space to reflect, but also created the space for your own self-improvement. So let her process your absence. Let her sit with the silence. If she realizes what she's lost, that's her journey, not yours. If she doesn't, you've still gained something invaluable: clarity, growth, and a deeper understanding of your own worth. This is the essence of Stoicism in relationships. Not clinging to outcomes, but embracing the freedom that comes with focusing on what you can control and letting everything else fall into place on its own. Number 9. Growth over games. Emotional games might bring a fleeting thrill, but they often leave both sides feeling hollow, misunderstood, or even resentful. Imagine this scenario. She ignores your texts, hoping to make you chase her, and you respond by mirroring her actions, withdrawing completely. At first, it feels like you're reclaiming power, But does anyone really win here? Both of you are left questioning the other's intentions, caught in a cycle of uncertainty and frustration. For her, moments like these can spark reflection. Perhaps she begins to realize that emotional games, though tempting in the short term, don't foster the connection she truly desires. It's an opportunity for her to reevaluate her approach to relationships, replacing manipulation with maturity and clarity. For you, it's an even greater opportunity. This is your moment to step away from the noise, resist reacting out of ego, and focus on something far more meaningful: your own growth. A Stoic man doesn't stoop to the level of petty tactics or power plays. Instead, he chooses to act from a place of wisdom, calm, and self-respect. Let's say she starts playing games, like being intentionally vague about her feelings, or testing your reactions with mind games. The Stoic approach isn't to retaliate or match her behavior. Instead, you might calmly address the issue. I value honesty and clear communication. If that's not something we can have, I'm okay stepping back. This response does two things. It shows emotional maturity and sets a boundary, but it also communicates that your peace of mind isn't up for negotiation. Emotional games thrive on reactions. When you stay composed and focus on what you can control, your mindset, your values, and your response, you not only protect your peace, but also demonstrate the kind of strength and character that commands respect. Remember, life is too short to waste on trivial games. The energy you spend trying to win a game of emotional chess is better spent building yourself up, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. Let her see that you're not swayed by drama or manipulation, and if she chooses growth too, great. If not, you're already on a path that fulfills you. Choose growth over games, every time. That's how a Stoic man not only navigates relationships, but also transforms them into something meaningful, or gracefully lets them go when they're not aligned with his values. Number 10. Moving on with strength. The ultimate power move isn't in ignoring her back. It's in choosing to let go. True strength doesn't come from playing mind games or trying to make her feel the sting of rejection. Real power lies in gracefully stepping away and showing that your happiness and peace are not dependent on anyone else's validation or approval. When you let go, you're not just moving on, you're reclaiming control over your own life and emotions. You've invested time, energy, and care into someone, hoping for something meaningful in return. But instead of the connection you desired, you're met with indifference, rejection, or silence. It stings, doesn't it? Your initial instinct might be to retaliate or to cling tighter, hoping things will change. But deep down, you know neither of these paths leads to the peace you seek. The true path to strength and growth is to let go, not to punish her or prove a point, but to liberate yourself from the emotional weight that's holding you back. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting what happened or pretending it didn't matter. It's about acknowledging the experience, learning from it, and releasing yourself from the pain of dwelling on what you cannot control. You're not erasing the past. You're choosing not to let it define your future. Picture a man who, after being ghosted, resists the urge to send another text, check her social media, or obsess over what went wrong. Instead, he shifts his focus inward. He starts hitting the gym, learning a new skill, or pouring energy into his career. He reconnects with old hobbies that bring him joy and rebuilds his sense of self-worth. Over time, he realizes he's no longer waiting for her acknowledgement. His confidence grows, his energy shifts, and he becomes someone who attracts healthier, more meaningful connections. This isn't about forgetting her, it's about valuing himself more. For a Stoic, this act of letting go is the ultimate demonstration of strength. Marcus Aurelius, a guiding figure in Stoic philosophy, wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This quote reminds us that letting go isn't about winning or losing in the context of a failed relationship. It's about staying true to your values and protecting your inner peace. Letting go is not an act of giving up, but an act of rising above, of showing resilience and clarity in the face of life's unpredictability. Consider this. When you let go, you send a powerful message, not just to her, but to the world, and most importantly, to yourself. You're telling the universe that your happiness is your responsibility, and that you refuse to let external circumstances rob you of your peace. That is true freedom. By moving forward with grace and confidence, you show that your life isn't defined by her actions or anyone else's. You demonstrate that your strength lies in your ability to adapt, to grow, and to create space for something better. This is not a sign of weakness. It's the ultimate expression of self-respect, maturity, and emotional strength. Letting go isn't easy, but it's worth it. It's a decision to choose peace over pain, growth over stagnation, and self-love over seeking external validation. This is how you rise above and step into your true power. That's a wrap for today's video. She may have thought ignoring you was just a game, but when the tables turned, it became clear. Every action carries a consequence. By choosing silence, reclaiming your energy, and prioritizing your growth, you send a powerful message, not just to her, but to yourself. You show what true strength, self-respect, and resilience look like. This isn't about playing games or proving a point. It's about stepping into your own power, living intentionally, and refusing to let anyone dictate your value. If this video resonated with you, take a moment to give it a thumbs up. Your support not only helps this channel grow, but also ensures that more people can discover this empowering message. Share it with someone in your life who might need this reminder. It could be exactly what they need to hear today. And I'd love to hear from you. What's one lesson or takeaway from today's video that really struck a chord with you? Leave a comment below, and let's keep the conversation going. Before you go, don't miss out on the video I've recommended here on the screen. It's packed with even more strategies and insights to help you navigate relationships, protect your peace of mind, and grow stronger every day. Thank you so much for spending your time here with me. Remember, you hold the power to define your worth. Stay strong, stay focused, and I'll see you in the next one.